with those meetings, we start meeting up early in the morning in Sentinel and then coming up with ideas to do street dance classes. So bear in mind, prior to that, I was not really teaching classes. I was just going to a space and then we'll train, we'll come up with routines for showcase because we did a lot of performances and a lot of street showcases. But now, with Good Jazz, we were structuring a lot of things. So Good Jazz was really smart. One thing was good, Good Jazz, he knew how to keep you calm and know how to solve everybody else's problem. You know, he used to use mathematics and things like that
Okay.
to solve everybody's issues. And one thing I remember about him, he used to tell me when I'm speaking to him, when he had his board and his notepad, when we're planning in this meeting, he used to say, Rudy, when you're talking, it's almost like your mind is like this. And then every time you talk, it's like pss, 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 pss. Now, the reason what I do when I'm here is to do this. So he took his arm and he started to unlock my fingers. And this to make you, and he started to do that. And then so that he can flow better.
Ah, right. So you were saying that you're too tense, too
too many ideas, too much release. I'm like, pow, pow, pow. Like, there's no resting.
I mean, based on what you've said, you know, growing up in that environment, all the things you've been through, it's understandable also. Like, this is, as you said, this was a boy who needed structure.
Yeah.
He needed
True.
some sort of, not you know, not the suffocating type of structure, but just something, a frame.
Yeah. Yes, a frame, structure, guidance, direction, management. And Good Jazz would have been the first person I would have had coming into my life. He was already in my life before, but he was doing other things. So this time he came and he saw what I was doing and he wanted to help me. And then when he saw what were the potential, the things we could do, he dedicated his time and life to it. He was like apprenticeship to Pinewood Studio, Wish.
That's a big sacrifice. That's someone who really believes in you.
Yeah. GMAC course, Shoop, University Shoop. He went to tell his parents, even blessing, so he can go on a business journey with Rudy.
I mean, I gotta ask, where is Good Jazz now?
Right now, just to jump it to now, right now, Good Jazz is a very successful businessman.
Good.
Very, very successful businessman. And I'm proud to say that. I'm very proud to stand here and say Good Jazz is a very successful businessman. But we'll get to that.
Yeah. I had to ask. It was like all this. You kind of want to feel, want to know that the story ends right,
Yeah. It does. It does end right. So throughout those meetings, we starting to structure all the things that I did, but I didn't have no structure with. Starting with street dance classes, we managed to get LA Fitness to give us a good price to start street dance classes.
Yeah.
And then we now starting to structure the dance crew. One Blood crew was now had to put on a structure because we were like, okay, now Rudy, you the main choreographer. You now have to create routine that are based like this, like that. You're gonna go perform. It's a big deal. It's not just like dance, and then there's a performance. Oh, let's go and perform. So he changed the whole structure. Every street showcase when we finish, nobody gets the money because now the money goes into the business account.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. It made sense because we had now to start doing things. But the structure came with problems because now,
of course,
now the whole chilling, the whole hanging around, the whole people just taking advantage of the fact that we could dance for free because we're dancing for free. Every space we had was for free. Even the place with Robert before Good Jazz was for free. We didn't really pay anything to be there. And then we now had the Mel Milap Center, which was on Berkeley Street that we were using through the Indian connection of Good Jazz.
Yeah.
Free. So our session was like for free. So the whole One Blood movement was free for everyone. Bear in mind, in the community or in the industry, like I would say, the dance industry, not everything was for free. There are people running dance classes,
Of course.
dance schools, and everything. But we had the whole movement, which was respected. A lot of people knew we were. We were like the street dance crew, like One Blood. Everybody knew One Blood was, you know. But it was for free. So when we just start changing the structure, it actually starts to highlight that what we're doing is a job. It's a big deal. We had to treat ourselves with a lot more respect. We had to structure. I had to be organized. I had to start making decisions. Everything was not just friendly, hi, bye.
Yeah, well, suddenly you need to have, as you said, there has to be a bit more organized, and so
Yes.
that means cutting off some of the. Artists can get excessive. We know that.
Yeah.
We can start hanging about. Next thing you know, we're just chatting, and how is your and
Yeah.
like we're supposed to be rehearsing, supposed to be whatever.
yeah.
But instead of that, we're just having this good old time, and then we all walk away like, oh, I had a great time, but did we actually do anything?
True. But you see, in my place, I was like, I was followed. I was one person that had, I had a really big name that a lot of people were following through dance. So I had this exit and outlet for all the other guys. So they came to me to be part of the street dance scene that I
Yeah.
provided, which was not much really. It was just dancing in the streets, going to Mail Milab Center, which is like a small studio, and then doing a bunch of performances. That's as much as it went, you know?
Yeah, but at this point, you've kind of become a little bit of a brand.
Yeah. We went to London a couple of times, did some battles, but we didn't really tap as much that I think we could have. So at that point, things started to become hard for others. The ones that were around me, friends and close homies, we call them. And we had to structure. We had to stop letting people in the room for sessions. Strict rehearsal was tight, and we put on extra rehearsals. Now we had to tell people that you have to pay for the extra rehearsals. So one thing I liked what Gujas was doing, it was like saving, street money, save, performance money, save, anything that comes in, save, minimum outlet, gross,
Yeah.
money coming in. That's why I realized
Yeah,
that
of
he was
course.
doing. Had a lot of fallouts with close friends. Didn't like the structure. Lost a lot of dancers. There was big time fallout with One Blood to a point where I lost numbers of people because of the structure. A lot of people talking, saying that we exploiting them because we started charging for classes. Bear in mind, everything prior to that was for free.
Yeah, I mean obviously I wasn't there, so I don't know all the backstory. But there's something that when something was for free and suddenly you're like, well, actually, I need to start charging.
Yeah.
People get pissed off, man, if they get used
True. And bear in mind, I'm not a funded organization.
to. Yeah.
I'm just a person that loves to dance and that's passionate about dancing, but now has a partner that wants to steer us the right way.
You need to make a living also.
Yeah, make a living also. So I'm getting this new structure. And I lost a lot of good friends through it, but at the same time, I gained a lot of other dancers.
Yeah.
Throughout that process, it builds up into a big number, then it goes into a small number. We still were dancing in the street. We were doing classes. Classes was mobbed. Never separated the ages of the classes. I'll put dads and kids and youths all in the one class. They all learn street dance the same. There was no separation of ages. Or kids learn like this, adults learn like that. If you love street dance, you should be able to learn in the one room. That's what was my perspective at the time, until we got into it. Now, we grew strong and powerful as a business because now we had structured classes, a lot of students coming to our classes. The same student were following street dance, so we had a group of numbers to go out in the street and perform. To me, it started to remind me that I was rebuilding this, what we lost with Hoods, with One Blood through dance and performing and all that kind of stuff, which was great. With Gujas, the structure was fantastic. Classes, performances, parent structure, good. He had everybody on a good bonnet. Then there was the Whispers.
Oh.
The Whispers was through me. People used to whisper in my ears What are you doing with Good Jazz? What are you doing with Good Jazz? Where are you guys going? You guys are making money, yeah? 50-50, what does it do for you? Blah, blah, blah. So me,
So you start getting these, well, really, you really need him? Do you really?
Yeah.
It's always like when you get this, like,
Yes.
it's the classic, you think of temptation in like traditional stories, you know, and the
Yes.
trope of like, what do you really? Come on,
Yes.
who's the good one?
So the thing is, the image looked like, when we went to do performances, everybody was uniformed. From me to all the dancers.
Yeah.
Jumpers, red jumpers, we look really cool, like a unit, you know? It was not just the typical, not typical, but it was not just an army of dancers you know, like that, but an army of people that could release all different type of energy through street dance. And the community bought it, you know? People used to follow us. They wanted to buy the jumpers. So it was really good and structured. When we went to performances, Gujas would wear a suit or very nice. I liked the way him and his brother. So Gujas always got his little brother, Gagandip. So big supporters. I'm talking to you right now. We made some chains in 2007. Some chains from the King of Bling shop, the one under the bridge. And these chains were One Blood Crew, engraved One Blood Crew, and in the back of it had a picture of Hip Hop Revival Entertainment logo.
Yeah.
And then we had made every single person in the crew these chains that we were repping like that. You know, One Blood Crew chains. So somebody can walk around and it'll be like, yeah, I'm part of One Blood. You know? Like, it was a big deal growing up. Until today, Gujas, with his successful business, he still wears the chain. Him and his little brother. To continue the story with just through it, there was great organization, great leadership. We had the hoods movement that I thought that would have died, that we should have got supported with, would have came in great shape with Gujas' presence. We had somebody looking out for us. We had somebody structuring things. We had somebody planning things.
And that's very important in this case, because you have all this. You can have all the creativity, but most of the time, creativity without structure, without discipline, can only go so far. Most of the time.
Yeah. So through all of that, then there were the whispers. Again, I believe that I was still immature in terms of understanding what I have created or what I was part of. I didn't really see the strength or the potential of the business of what we were doing. I was just happy, hyper, just all over the place. And Gujas had to keep me right most of the time. But then he also had warned me. I remember he used to warn me about if our fall will be you, because our rise is also you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. The only way we can fall is if somebody gets into your ears. They can't get into mine, really. If we fall, that means somebody's got into your head. So don't worry. Stop doing this. Be more like this. Let it float. And I took it in, but it didn't feel like it got in, because there was a lot of people that used to ask me a lot of questions, and I was gonna say, Gujas used to dress up nice when we go to performance. We dress up in uniform, we dress up nice. And I liked the way he presented himself as our manager. When he's talking to you about us, it's like he's selling Sony record. That's how he used to talk. But I managed to allow the whispers to get in. The whispers got so into me that I started to question his loyalty. And there was nothing to question. I became the bitter energy in the business. And I remember he took me to his house once after working with him for like almost a year. And bear in mind, he's been organizing everything. I don't ask no question. I've just been working with him the same way I worked with the guy before. I'm all over the place, and he's organizing everything. Bear in mind, he's organizing it for the good of us. He's not just taking advantage.
Yeah.
And I went to his house and I saw his parents and everything. And he had brought me in and he set me in the kitchen. He said, come and sit down. He offered me tea. He brought his dad in. And then his dad came and sat with us. And he had 2 books, 2 notepads, put it on the table. And then he kicked his little brother out of the kitchen. No, you go out. This is important meeting. I was like, okay, serious. Bear in mind, first ever, I'll say, meeting about something I've ever created, I've ever had with anyone. With Gujas and his dad. We sit down and then open the books. The books had everything in it. Classes, street showcases, incomes, outcomes, jumpers, everything we were doing.
Breakdown. Yeah.
Money coming in. And then there was a section which made me laugh. Meetings with Rudy. breakfast.
Yeah.
breakfast. I know he used to, oh, right, that's why you used to say you can eat anything. Because,
So you did?
Yeah, there's money there, you can eat anything. So I did. It was like breakfast, dinner, breakfast, dinner. And then there was that section of Rudy Boro. And I stood there like, whoa. And then he broke it all down and he said, yeah, this is what we've made. And
The finances, yeah.
I was in shock. But I didn't feel like I understood what I just witnessed. He pulls out a bag with all loads of money, cash, all the money we've put in together, street money, jumpers, all of it, cash. Here you go. There's like 10, 15 grand here. This is what we've made in 7 months. My head exploded. 70% between me and him, 35, because we put on all the work, because he was like a godfather to us. So every dancer, if you got £1, if you got £2, a £5, tax it, good jazz. Everybody, every dancer that's ever encountered a dance with one blood, it was always good jazz that was doing. And then we had to split the cash. 35, fair, he stays in the business so he can roll 35% each. And then there was all this money on the table. And then give me my 35%, he gets his 35%. So I've got all this money. Now, I just got my mind blown in a big meeting with him, telling me all this stuff, over-organized stuff that I've never experienced. Then he's got all this cash that we have, that we made from the street and all this stuff. And here's my car. I bear in mind, I'm mature, I'm full of energy, passionate. I don't know business well. I'm still living in couches and all that. And I'm a party, like I'm always out there in the street. So I walked out that house with my head all over the clouds. I didn't know what to do with myself. I had all this money in my bag. No structure. I couldn't even go to my mom and go, hey, mom, look, I've got this money because I'm out in the street. Because I'm rebellious. I'm trying to,
And plus, you still have that little grudge.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah.
I
I
like,
definitely
no,
had that
I'm going to
little-
do it myself.
Yes.
I'll show you.
Bro, I lost the plot. I think that day was the day I lost it. So it's like money took over, the whispers took over, and instead of me seeing the potential of my friend Gujas and what he was doing for us,
And yeah.
the mind is flipped, and all I could see was all these other
Ka-ching.
money. Oh, is he stealing? Oh, what's going on? All this weird stuff. Always trying to cause an argument with Gujas.
And also keep in mind that you just came out of the experience of someone,
Yeah,
skimming.
Yeah, so I'm still
Previously. So
yeah,
the trust issue is there,
Yes,
all the
yes.
other things. So there's a lot happening at
yeah,
the same time.
Yeah. So I had a big blow now with him just to sum it out, and I got mad at him for no reason. For no reason, bro. I got mad at him, and then he was like, "Bro, what did I do?" And I got mad at him. I said, "Yeah." I shouted at him. I said, "I don't need you. I can't need you." Now, he used to tell me when I used to talk to him, when I was talking like that, but no shouting at him, he used to tell me, you've been listening to somebody. Somebody's been in your ears. That's why you, and then he would do that thing where you make it easy. So, bro, there's nothing going wrong. It's just your mind is just thinking. And we had the fallout that day, and I told him some horrible words. I don't need you, da 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 da. And he said, okay. And he left. And then that was a separation between me and him. The next day, he came and handed me over the business card, the remaining of some money that was there, books of the business and all that.
Yeah.
There you go. And I remember when, after reconciling with him, he said the most hurtful part was to walk away and you not stopping me from walking away. And he left, he gave me all of that, and I was still arrogant.
I'll show you.
Bro, I drove everything to the ground. The classes, the crew, the parents. Hip-hop revival. One breath. Everything went south. Everything that was structured by Gujas, I blew it out of the water. From that day on, when I went downhill, I got caught up with life and things like that. Then I started to pick it up slowly, and fixing myself. And at that point, the business had crushed. You can now anyone could have had an assumption of what it would take about myself. Either I'm not good at working with, because I had those things with me. I could definitely say I was very late. I'm very late at things, not being organized at things, and I carry a lot of grudges. I'd carried a lot of grudges, so all of that was mixed into that. So I was a total mess. And after Gujas, I start to trying to rebuild this structure that he showed me.
That's when you have to do it by yourself. You realize how much it is, huh?
Yeah, it was a lot. Didn't know nothing about business. Didn't know nothing. I still don't know anything about business, but I've managed to learn and navigate around the business areas to be able to know what's needed. And at this age, I'm 34 now, I feel more humbly to learn again, like to a level where I'll go to a workshop. I want to take some courses. Like they say, it's never too late. Yeah, but why did it have to take me this long to be like?
I mean, that's a valid question. But also, the one thing I've learned as well over time is that we don't start in the same place in life. And we also don't choose what speed, like, everyone's born different abilities and stuff. So the way we travel through life, we also don't get to choose that. We just get to make the most of it that we can. And based on whatever information you started with, as long as you tried your best, you could end up wherever. Like if you look at it, if you were born a couple of 100 years ago, you could have lived your whole life believing something was right, something was true. Yeah. And now we know that none of it was true. Yeah. None of it was right.
Tell me about it.
If I make this example, but if you were a Viking, you were a good person, you're hanging out with your tribe, doing whatever, and then over the weekend you went up with your lads and went over to some other village and burnt it down and had a great time and did all the horrible things and then went back home.
Yeah.
And you were a good person.
Yeah. True.
So do you know what I mean? Like you can live your whole life we now know that you were probably a bad person. But at the time, that the most they had.
Yeah.
So again, in life, it's like, as long as you try your best, it can take a long time. It can take whatever. But as long as you got there in the end, that's what matters.
It took time. It took time for me to rebuild the structure because all I knew was that structure. So I had to try to heal myself first because I felt like I was keeping a lot of things in. And then after doing a lot of healing, I then started to search how I can fix all the extra things.